spectrum,
How do you feel, mister?
said Stamford. Hubble was already lost in the numerous wavy light spectrums visible in front of his eyes. He was too surprised to answer. He was too unconscious to give his feedback.
Mr. West, what do you feel?
He repeated. Hubble West could see himself floating and drowning at the same time. He felt relieved. He did not seem to have a will to return back anymore. Not to the world with stinking underground metro rail compartments stuffed with people, where bosses yell at their inferiors just to bust their stress or to cover their own crimes. A world full of cruel, intolerant, and selfish beings. Hubble left his body loose on the couch and dived in the deepest oceans of mystery, the mind. The doors banged shut, and the bulb, which was hanging low right above the polished celluloid table, was switched on. Hubble got up with a surprise. He rolled his tongue in his dry mouth and found out that the traces of LSD stamp were still in there.
Where am I? Where am I?
Mumbled Hubble as he tried to stir from the uncomfortable chair.
you are in my supervision.
Replied a loud, husky voice.
You have been arrested for the recovery of considerable amount of narcotic material found in your residence.
My house?
He panics. He felt the metallic discs restricting him hardly to reach his chin. He was certainly handcuffed to the uncomfortable chair.
Beneath your bathtub, right? And the cardboard boxes on the attic?
Hubble went quiet. He hung his head low, and nobody could see in the dark what exactly he was upon. The interrogator remained silent and glanced across the red-nosed, watery-eyed man of 50-something, whose eye card assured the man to be Hubble West, the resident of Stamford Avenue Street of West London, a security guard with a connection to a drug racket probably. Lights and shadows did their job. Secrets were kept secrets. Hubble was clueless about whom he was talking to, and the interrogator was not sure whether Hubble was sleeping or not. He was taking deep breaths.
Hey, get up!
Hubble was frightened by the sudden shout. He looked here and there and then closed his eyes. The bulb was not a comfort to Hubble.
What do you know about the racket?
Hubble did not answer.
Tell me, what do you know about the racket?
Hubble kept quiet. He twitched. The interrogator sighed and went slowly, word by word, shouting out each syllable into his ears.
What do you know about the racket?
I don't know anything, sir. Sir, I don't know anything. Leave me alone.
Hubble mumbled and cried. Interrogator scoffed at him. He shouted again.
You son of a... I know you're faking it. I know.
No, sir, I'm not faking it. Please leave me. I know nothing. Please leave me. Please.
Then how did the sack of cocaine come from under that bathtub, huh? And the stamp of book of LSD under the bed?
Hubble went quiet again. He shivered and twitched. His teeth clattered and chattered. A drop of perspiration trickled down his spine. His handcuffs clanked on the metal chair handle.
Tell me, you swine.
Hubble said nothing.
Speak.
Hubble did not stir. The room was quite dark to Hubble and was not unfamiliar to him. He felt that he had been here in this wet, humid place before, but did not know where or when. The room was silent for a long time, and for the very first time he repented for this job. The silence broke when the sound of metallic clicks approached to the very ears of Mr. West. And then a gloved hand was visible under the faint yellow light of the bulb, with a gun and a silencer at the tip of it.
This works, Mr. West. A fully functional pistol will be blasting your gut in any point if a blank range if you don't tell us where your associates are.
The armed interrogator took the gun away and shot 4 rounds over Hubble's shoulder.
6 are still left. How if I shoot these 6 bullets into your head and send a criminal warrant to your family members who are now in Miami?
Hubble sat upright, being more prone to obstruction caused by the bright light.
Please, sir, don't tell anything to my family. I beg you.
So, tell me about the racket.
Hubble said what he had to say. Hubble was an ordinary man with an ordinary job of a security guard at the Buxton Art Gallery. There he met a co-worker named Stamford. They became good friends, and this friendship gave way to a dealer-customer relationship. He naturally got tangled up in this terrible drug racket, and it had been only 18 months. This time was enough for a healthy man to get addicted to those life-snatching pills and powders and stamps and all. So was the case of Mr. West, who was now repenting for his crimes. Being a nervous man, he told them all, promised them to leave these habits. He was indeed lying, because changing habits are such a difficult task, even for a strong-hearted man, where Hubble was a weak coward. Drugs were taking over his own involuntary self and slowly eating up his self-respect and sense. Hubble gulped when he shivered and sobbed. Interrogator let out a breath.
So, is it all you know?
Hubble said,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Why did you ask?
Because you have not told me about the other quintal of cocaine in your garden right beneath your old rusty Jeep.
Hubble got startled.
But how? I mean, how did you know?
Because we knew.
You are not a good member, mister. You are not a good member, mister. You are not a good, reliable person.
The light went out and the windows opened up, letting in the neon halogen city lights enter. The interrogator held the gun on Hubble's forehead.
Like I said, 3 shots to your head. I'm afraid you're not a reliable member.
He pressed the gun on him, saying,
How do you feel, mister?
Hubble's eyes enlarged and his brows went up.
Stop!
Hubble went quiet again, but this time for good. The interrogator threw the gun on the table and scoffed at his people behind the curtains.
It's too hard to rely upon someone these days. Better we need to interview people before taking them into gangs. Right, boys?
Hi, Ami. Hendricks.